Good morning. Today we're going to put in a solution to save probably 140 hours of our life gardening this year, and at the end I'm going to show you a mystery garden environment that I guarantee nobody on this, nobody watching this has had in a raised bed before. So check it out. Hello and welcome to the garden. We've got our first days of 80 plus degrees, probably 3 or 4 days in a row, and the garden is just wilted and the raised beds have taken the hardest hit. Water just tends to drain right out of those, so I've been out here a lot watering with a wand, and you can see everything's okay. And all the stuff over here is starting to come up, but really I've wasted probably an hour and a half every day, maybe an hour, trying to water things, and it just doesn't work. You can't do that all summer, so I'm gonna get the drip irrigation. So really all I use is the 1-inch tubing and the 1/4-inch drip tubing, or directional tubing to each plant. And I really like these 2 gallon an hour drippers. Come in a bag, and you've got, let me see if I can get out of the light there. So the red one is 2 gallons an hour, and of course I'm not going to leave it on that long, but you just poke into here, or you add your directional tubing, plug it into the main line, and plug your drip or your drip controller into that, and you can stake it right on your plant wherever you want it. So I'm going to run through that, and I've got my stuff from last year all saved in a bucket. I use all the Rainbird stuff, and they really make everything you need to kind of get this done. And I'm going to leave this permanently connected to one of the hose outlets, so when I turn the hose on, I've got irrigation going to the back. Irrigation will be going to the side here, just off our breezeway, and the front's on a different faucet, but at least we've got everything hit. And the one word of caution is with this black stuff, it does heat up if it's not under mulch or something, so a lot of my stuff is just above ground sometimes, and that'll make your water that's sitting in there boil. So when you're you actually turn it on, it's gonna drop boiling water on your plants potentially. So I do it in the morning or in the evenings, or I bleed it all out when I turn it on. So at one end, what I mean there is, at one end you're gonna have your faucet connection, which is this, just screws onto your faucet like a hose, and it's got a pressure fitting, so you can just pop that right on your hose there, so you've got half of the work done. At the other side, whether you do 100 feet, 50 feet, 200 feet, whatever, you've got to stop the water flow at the end. And to do that, you've got just your open hose. They sell an attachment that goes on, and you can bend that, and it'll keep it pinched. I don't really need that. What I do is I will double it there, and then I'll just use electrical tape to keep it shut. So I don't know how much length I need, so I'm not gonna commit to that yet. I'm gonna go ahead and attach this to my hose, thread it out to the garden, and then I'll start cutting tees. And what I mean there is I'm gonna actually come flat from the bottom, come inside, across the bed, down, under, go to the next bed, straight up 90 degrees, over, and snake them around the bed. So what I've got for that is just a 90-degree tee, and this is pretty dummy proof, so we'll see how it goes. High bar. Lastly, before I get out there, when you are doing the directional drip to each of your plants, I like the 2 gallon an hour drip. It's the red one if you're getting rainbird, and that end will just pop onto your hose, and you'll use a similar fitting on the other side. And I actually send the pointy end into this hose, and I'll put the blunt end into the actual 1-inch tubing, and that seems to work better for me. I don't like that point going to the other side of the tube when I'm plugging it in. So with these 5-foot and 6-foot wide garden beds, I'm probably going to, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might send one down the middle and just directional off of each side. Boy, there's a lot of animals here. But once we get out there, we'll see how it goes. So. So we are going to show you how we decided to save 140 hours of our gardening time this year, and this is how we did it. So here we've got our raised beds that we built this year. We've got everything planted up, and really it takes about an hour to water everything out here every day. We do half an hour in the morning, half an hour at night, and it's that adds up to about 140 hours for our gardening season of standing there with a wand trying to water our free-range vegetables. And this is what we came up with a few years ago. We've actually been doing this for about 6 years, and the Rainbird drip irrigation system is exactly what we think everybody should be doing. You've got different attachments here. You've got everything has been on for probably 7 minutes, and everything's soaked at the top. If you do this early in the morning, it's going to soak that soil down perfectly for the day, these hot summer days. And then in the evening, we're going to give them a shot again for about 30 minutes, maybe 20, because a lot of these are 2 gallon an hour drips. So a piece of broccoli doesn't really need 2 gallons all at once. So we may actually shorten this out, but we've got this system throughout the whole yard, all the way out back for 500 feet, and just this garden bed alone cost about $45. So $45 to save you 140 hours of your life, just to get things watered in. And when you're doing that, actually you're going from plant to plant, so it can be longer than so it's probably longer than that. What we've mainly used here is the 1-inch tubing. And from there we've got drips that are directional flowed. This is 2 gallons an hour. Blue is half a gallon an hour. I just had this laying around, so I stuck it in. And up here we've got different sprinkler attachments that you can turn to make sure you're hitting what you want. More of the broadcast seeds that we try to hit with stuff like that. And then if you go over here, we've got, not necessarily staked in the right place yet, but the 2 gallon an hour drips are going to individual plants. So if we move over to our other garden, we've got still some work to do on the onions. So on this one we've got just 3 tomato plants in a row. We've got 1, 2 drips going to each of these. I've only got 1 on that one actually. But you can actually add more targeted flow with these little 1/4-inch tubes with the 2 gallon an hour attachments on there. Or if you go over here, you can look at, we've got the drips directly into the 1-inch tube. So if you plan it out right, you can do a whole line like these peppers where each have their own drip, and some can actually be a little tighter, but that's better than you could get anything watered as far as I'm concerned with a wand. So we've got everything going on here. We've got a bubbler that I don't like. I'll probably change that out. And over here we've got just more peppers and onions and everything. And everything is getting saturated just where we need it. So we don't have a whole lot of overspray. We're not using tons of water here. This one looks like it might be having a little bit of a problem, but we've got everything hit at least once, except for our chives, which I think will be all right. So this bed needs a little bit more sprinkler on it, I think, and I think it's good to go. We'll cover this tube with mulch, since we did just get it finished this morning. But that tube gets really hot in the daytime here, and you don't want to turn these on at noon or something if they're exposed to the sun. You're gonna have boiling water on your plants. So do it right when you wake up and before that water in the tube gets too hot, or in the evening, or both like we do. So we'll get some mulch on that, and then tweak the final sprinklers that we want, and we should be good to go. So I forgot to tell you the mystery animal that we caught here. If you look right over here at that giant hole, if you look over at this giant hole here, we thought we had voles. So I got a mouse trap, and this is what we actually caught. That hole was dug in one day. We put the dirt in this garden bed, and the next day that giant hole was there. We thought we had, again, a mouse, but it's really just this yard is so full of water that we caught a crawdad, and it's got these huge shovels that it's just digging out that mud. And unfortunately he was gone by the time I was able to let him go. But yeah, I've never caught a pretty awesome crawdad in a garden before, and I wish I would have let him do his thing. But we do have a lot of drainage out that hole, so I think we needed to get it plugged up. But yeah, we got lobsters.